Right, so day 30, almost a month. Well, it is a month. Quick little trade down there on the Nasdaq, just as the market, well, quite a bit after the market's just opened, to be fair, but below VWAP, below the 10 EMA, blah, 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 blah. Right, here we go. So looking at gold now, again, below the 10 EMA, which has just started to look like we're going to see some further downside movement, aiming really for a retest of that pivot point and the VWAP that's down there. I was a little concerned with this one, as it looked like it had bounced off where we'd previously found support. Sorry, previously found resistance with that. And then it just sort of wicked away from it, so it did sort of make me wonder a little bit whether it was actually going to go. Well, thankfully it did. Right, losing trade this one. Nasdaq again doing me dirty. To be fair, it was quite choppy there. We're playing within that sort of, we're sort of bear flagging, aren't we, really? But I mean, those wicks are just insane. Obviously looking at the 3-minute chart here, very, very wicky, and yeah, we just come down. Stop loss is probably in a very silly place, right on that EMA, just above the EMA, so a retest of the EMA would not be, yeah, you're always going to get stopped out of there, really. I think, it was a dangerous one to take. Right, back to gold now. Good old gold. Looks to be holding the EMA to the downside, sort of wicking away from it. Again, looking for that continuation of the push down. We made a lower high there as well by the looks of it, so we've just put our stop loss up at the top there, just in case it decides to reenact the previous trade and stop me out. Yeah. Looking for a retest of the, well, yeah, I mean, obviously the take profit's down at the bottom there. I think I moved the take profit up as well. I'm not too sure, I can't really remember. But it was a positive trade, so whatever. Right, so back to the Nasdaq, and once again, it wasn't playing very nicely for me. Yeah, ended up getting stopped out on this one, obviously. We put the stop loss below the low, or just at the low. The previous candle, we were looking like we were just sort of going to start to break away. You know, that that candle that we're watching now looked quite promising, but it just didn't have the legs for it, unfortunately. So yeah. Or did we move? Oh, we moved our stop loss down. That was sensible, wasn't it? Honestly, what a tit. But yeah, I shouldn't really trade the Nasdaq, the wealth period, but I shouldn't really trade the Nasdaq inside that first hour. I'm not gonna lie, I rarely take good trades on it, and trading it well consistently during that hour is pointless. It just doesn't happen. The thing is, it's so overextended as well. You know, the candles are so big. You know, as in, you know, it's so. What am I saying now? Like, each candle is worth so many more points. You know, because there's just so much more movement in the market. Obviously, you know, the Yanks have just woken up. You know, they're shifting it around. But for those of us who trade like retards, that's not really helpful, especially when you're getting stopped out. You just get stopped out so big because your stop losses have to be, you know, I mean, I don't know, is that a sensible place to put the stop loss? I don't even know. I don't know, you know. That's why I'm doing this, because I don't know. And hopefully in, you know, a few years' time I can look back and comment on how ridiculous my attempts at trading was and how much better I am at it. Hopefully. Yeah. So anyway, stopped out there. We go again. Right, so we've had a big drop from gold, and we're just looking to continue a continuation there. So we've had that previous candle retest, and yeah, miles away from the EMA. So looking back, this was probably asking for trouble. However, it does dump right at the end, but we did have to sit through a little bit of drawdown there first. So yeah, just I don't know. I don't really remember what was I looking at that I missed all these big candles down like that. That breakthrough VWAP, you know, that convincing push through VWAP. You know, what was I doing? Did I miss that? I don't know what happened with the rest of this video. I must have cut it short. Right, riding my luck again a little bit with the gold shorts. This one I would say is pretty pointless because, yeah, we're targeting the pivot point. We're essentially right at it, you know. I don't really see the point in taking that trade, to be honest with you, but whatever, we took it. Yeah, this would have been a really I mean, look at how much further away. Look how much bigger the stop loss is in comparison to the take profit. That's just not smart, is it? So we do push down, to be fair. Obviously conscious of the fact that we don't actually have to touch that pivot point. We could bounce away from it at any point now. It would have been lovely if it did actually get triggered, because we ended up getting stopped out essentially just below break even there. Right, screen froze on this one. Don't really know why or how, but yeah, whatever. Screen froze on this one. So yeah, Dow breaking out of a bull flag. Yeah, nice. Yep, Dow again. Just a bit cleaner, just a bit clearer, just a bit more obvious than the Nasdaq. Moves a little bit better. I don't know, Nasdaq was just a bit not being very kind to me today, even worse than usual. This is a mini though, so you know, historically this is where we have caused ourselves problems. Yeah. So looking for a retest of the pivot point, which I think is reasonable. And yeah, we move that up a little bit because we just start to. This 3-minute candle's about to close, and when it does, it closes really, really bullish. Just a massive, massive wick. Yeah, about to close in a second. Yeah, so yeah, there you go. That's not a bearish candle, is it? That's not really what you want to see at the bottom of a move. But yeah, so I think at this point I had to quickly run upstairs and change my undies because I was shitting my pants. Because yeah, you're almost not too far off being 100 quid down there. So, but it came down nicely. It came down nicely for us, didn't it? Yep. Yeah. So yeah, that one worked. As we move back to gold now, obviously we've had this massive dump going on. And something really interesting that I've noticed just starting to using, switching things up a little bit, less indicators on the chart. Just got that 10 EMA, and if you look at it there, so we've had this big, steep dump there, and we're just hitting that U-turn. I think just if you watch that, it just gives you that little indication that, it's actually really now starting to reverse back upwards. Obviously, pretty much all of those previous candles, it looks a bit choppy, but they've all realistically been closing higher than the previous one, give or take 1 or 2, but, so it gives you that sort of confirmation, I think, that you really are starting to move up, and stripping away all this other nonsense on the chart, like, your other EMAs and that Ichimoku cloud. I mean, Christ, that was a waste of fucking time having that on there. But yeah, I can't even remember what else I used to have on there. Opening range and stuff like that. But God, it's just too much. It's just far, far too much. An amount of average intelligence just can't really process it all. So yeah, this was a good one. This was, yep. I think I did take it before we hit our take profit naturally, but yeah, good trade. Yeah, Nasdaq, this is the last one. Forgot to record this, but you can see the arrows. Got that bull flag breakout, push off VWAP, push off the 10 EMA. Spectacular. So, all in all, that was 279 on the day, which was really good, especially when you consider. I know that we were, to be fair, trading the mini Dow at one stage. But yeah, for smaller contract sizes, it's pretty good, that, to be fair. If you think about it, if you were trading the Nasdaq minis, that would be that would be a substantial amount. So can't argue with it, really. Yeah, good day.